that directs them. This evening, we want to delve deeper and better understand what the Methodist Church is doing, where we are heading, and what, as MYF, what we can also do. How can we contribute in our small way as MYF? What can we do to also help the church to grow from grace to grace? So I will invite Sister Eunice Edufol. Sister Eunice, she will moderate this session for us.
Brethren, we. Okay, so with our next session, I want to introduce the next person to take us through the session. And I'll read a short profile about him. I'll be brief about that. So, he's a medical psychopathologist and pain research scientist. He attended the prestigious St. Peter's Secondary School in Kwetia, Kwewu, Ghana. And he holds degree from the University of Cape Coast, the University of Ghana, Legon, the University of Education, Winneba, the University of Aalborg, Denmark, the University of the Western Cape in South Africa, and the University of Copenhagen, Denmark. He completed his postdoctoral fellowship at the University of the Western Cape, Cape Town, where he taught for some time. He then worked as a research fellow at the KNUST, School of Medical Science, and he's now with the University of Ghana and the Methodist University of Ghana, Department of Nursing. He is a member of the National Association of the Study of Pain, the Canadian Pain Society, the South African Association of the Study of Pain, and the Ghana Psychological Council. He is also a Reverend Minister of the Methodist Church Ghana and the church's Strategic Plan Manager. He has further demonstrated his leadership and organizational skills through hosting of the most Christian morning show in Ghana on Western television. Sorena Shreng. Reverence, strength are communicating purpose and mediating or negotiating agreement. He's in the person of Reverend Adika Agbemenya Vincent. Let's welcome him as, you can do it better. Please, let's clap as he comes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Brothers and sisters, we. Thank you very much for having me. The organizers and Osofo wanted a short bio. I always get a bit embarrassed when I'm asked to give a short bio because you wouldn't know what to say and what to leave out. And this is maybe 4 paragraphs out of a 50-page CV. I have been teaching in university for the past 22 years, taught KNUST Medical School, received a call into the Methodist Church, come to Accra, shuffle between University of Ghana and the Methodist University. I say all this to let you know that you at this moment is so privileged to be a Methodist. Methodist and I'm going to give you reasons why I say so. I'm sure some of you might have heard of my story of how in the mid-90s, in my university days, I left the Methodist Church Mamubi Methodist Church at the time, Accra Newtown Circuit. Osofo Amehe was my colleague at the time. It was a simple dinct of a certain prophetic act that I did, thinking the anointing was on me, and Osofo called me and asked that if I really wanted to be a minister of the church, and you meant to me boas and I may me. You know the onion demo thing. I think I got annoyed because in those days, hey, come day. See, the phenomena of the prophetic is not a recent thing. It started many years ago when Methodist boys and girls were sharing and come like that. Yeah. Well, when I returned back into the church, I didn't come as a prophet. I came as a funeral pastor. Tisese upema domache de baako pa enoni eyiyo. Yeah. So if I don't come back to this funeral thing, when it comes to question time, somebody asks me, and you understand why I am the manager of the strategic plan and why I'm giving the strategic talk. Why a person who left the church as a prophet. Anytime I say this, I want to add up to the fact that not only was I a prophet, but I elevated myself to the level of an apostle. So I was apostle, doctor. And in those days, in the charismatic church, there were no many doctors and PhDs. So you can look at a person who is a medic who is also a PhD. In those days, and there were not many at all. You could count not less than 10 people who were in this category. It's not like that in recent times. And I operated in this prophetic gift and had other younger people, some from the Methodist church, some from the Catholic church, and other places, who wanted me to mentor them. And when they came, some I ordained them. Some I blessed their weddings. I'm sure that in those days, if the Ghana Publishing House, that gazettes ministers on behalf of the country knew what I did, they would have imprisoned me because it was unethical to do that when you are not gazetted. Now, do you all know the prophet in town, one of the prophets who calls himself the nation prophet, Prophet Nigel Gacy? You have heard of him. He's a popular. So I use him as an example because he's the most popular of them. Now, he was my minister. He learned the prophetic act under my feet. Otemenasi. Set me apostle to Otemenasi. In those days, so he was my student, finished Accra Poly, came to the University of Ghana, saw the way we did things, and he wanted to follow. Some of those young men and women, they always want to be connected. So they want to be part of a person who can get them connected. It was actually part of my ministry that I left in the early 2000s to come back to, mid 2000s to come back into the Methodist church, that he formed his own ministry. One day we met somewhere, and I don't say, who's a nation? Oh, papa, me, say me a ding. Say, who a nation? All right. So I think this is a fantastic synopsis for us to begin. And also to let you know that gone were the days when Methodist software nyobia. Hey, in our days, why you swa ni teacher? Methodist software, why you swa? So when we were growing up, we only started hearing Dr. So and so from the era of Osofo Asamoah Jedu. And I'm talking about the year 2022. 2022, 2023 was when we began hearing that. We had come to hear of a certain Osofo Agbeti from Peki who became a doctor, who became a PhD. But in the Methodist church, we started hearing in the early 2000s Osofo Ekem had it early in the 90s, but when the era of Osofo Mupon Asamoah Jedu came in the 2002, the influx started coming. Osofo Edusa Esin followed, and the likes. So when we were growing up, we didn't have the benefit of what you see today. Now, today, you have a person who is speaking to you now, who is a full-time Methodist minister, who is not just a minister but an accomplished medic who has worked for 22 years of his career, traveled the world, and is a full-time Methodist minister. Now, what I am telling you is that, except that you people are not seeing. Please allow me to brag a little bit, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Now, when I came, you saw the car I came with a Prado. It is not the church's car, my car. My car. Methodist minister, full time. I'm not a part time. So to those of you who think I'm a part time, say or yes, you know, I'm a full time employee of the church. Now, it is not only me, they are brothers and sisters of my like. On Friday, how many of you heard me interview Osofo Clara? Wow! Oba Besieni Madie. Enti satama na Methodist asofo na eba no mo ye middle living certificate no. Etwem. The era of when they only had a diploma because they went to government secretariat and came. Now we have method. I don't want to mention names. Okay? But there's a colleague of mine who is almost the head of the anatomy department of the University of Ghana, who is a minister. I mean, like, I'm just pulling it. I'll pull his leg. So I'm a pathologist, same, except that I work on the mind of both living and dead people. Yeah, but only like Ochicha in Ipa, you know. Methodist minister. They are Methodist ministers who are engineers. I saw in Moya the Bamu. Now let me give you the last one, then I can move on. 2 years ago, a lady who was managing the WTV approached me because we had started shooting COVID services. That was when we started the Hour of Grace. They used some of us to start. Now when this lady sees the way my microphone appeal, my appearance on screen, the okikenu, my language, some of you know I am multilingual. I can speak 6 Ghanaian languages without blinking an eye. Okay. Now she called me and said, this is Nanaya, her name, the manager of the WTV. Said, Sofo, unya TV so aobeba. I said, Dabi, me ye busy mind. Minti memma. Then to Sofo, dream who you na. One day, ube damase say, I'm saying, dear, and so, Uncle Yabeka news, Susanna I be near Oka news. Okay. So I went to think about this for a long time, several months, almost getting to a year, and I went back to her and I told her that I think news will not fly. Let's do a morning show. So for morning show, why never share? Why never be me? So for your show, I'm saying mayor. So the first time I sat on TV was WT when they say action. Now I saw a need, and I decided to capitalize on it. Ubian Sumame. Now, when I say WTV's flagship program, Sorena Show, is the most watched morning show, I have evidence. I'm coming from Kofodia. Na mesi me tum pasare because the driver and the rest were in the chomu difufu na me di me die wi me tum call le die wi nti me tum pasare me tin kwala so fuajika eh so fuajika muni me wan sorry na share so fuajika ona mu say my popra amam for say me celebrate me so popra. This is strategy. Those of you who want to leave this church, mukowu. There is nothing to go and prove in the car. Then new. There's nothing. So came back to the church. Apostle came back. Sofo Sechiapia used to be in this church. His church was where I went Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship had invited us for a program. I had gone to do my prophetic things. She shared them come. They said the Methodist minister was coming to also do something. Then he went. First day, I heard, I said, oh, so I went, Fiesta Royal. And I'm saying, so on that day, on that same seat, main speaker for a full gospel, I decided to go back to the Methodist church. Went to announce to my church. And now, and I didn't go back. Left the church, left the instrument, left the car, left investment in the medical. Oh no, I left. Oh yeah, Jessica, I grad that there no, normal. The thing you see, I grad, normal. Look, we plan a program and we put a quota on the program. Sakura, they are your mother. And I grad that there, and me say you plan the program, you program. Me say you the boy, a tussle. You born yet me chase kana and sana program na shase. Because unim say kwa fa so and so if you UK about one VF. Why you in the budget to be to I catch them here at the man. Now some of the foreign speakers, if you don't tell them how much I give you, they won't come. It be bad, you don't call that 4-star. It be no at the first class never. So you do a program media. Charlie, 2 million DABE. And then we know the people who are going to give us the money. We know the style of the income share. It's normal. But the income share, no income share, so the jade. Tinyamia be when you go see we are say, what bonnet na din. Nanso so akwankyere ho. Nti mama de be hum office why na aha ye nipam. No wakwa tena ase no akyekere so osuro. No akyekere. In Agra, that's where you could chew. Look, this is coming from me, believe me. But that is the nature. Into your method this 4 piece comes way is car. The hey. Movie cramotia muntia tighted da movie as mobile. When is car. You know. Alright, so let's have the conversation. The strategic plan of the Methodist Church. Please move the first slide. Let's go. Are we excited already? All right, let's go. Push. All right. Now, God is a God of plan. So when I met the Trinitarians who were about to finish school, I told them, never come into ministry without your personal plan. Dear friends, I can tell you that if I ask hands to be raised for those who have diaries, I will get about 30% of you. Now, those 30%, if I ask how many of them have planned their personal life, I will get less than 5%. Not many of you have a plan for your life. Example. Call people random. In the next 2 years, where do you want to see yourself? In the next 5 years, where do you want to see yourself? You will be shocked. Inti moti ha mo se mo ye plans and mo ye policy fun ben na mo ye. I'm being sarcastic like this because I want you to know that before we even see the plan of the church, where do you stand in the eclectic plan of the entire church? Where do you stand? Where do you stand? So this is for a laugh. Naturally, I am a smart person. At this time, you don't need a wizard to tell you. And my smartness is always to do good and to make money. These are the only things I use my smartness. So, every time my mind is looking at business infrastructure. And who can say, memra word ya maybe say aheni eche. That's had been my mentality. Memra we ya maybe says ahen and eche. So for my eboniana. If you ask me to come for a party, I'm asking you whether I will be sharing some other than that. Anything that does not bring a profit of a sort, I don't want to be part of. Now, it also doesn't mean say me you do fudini pesika. No, that's not what I do. But I naturally want to be relevant everywhere I go, and I want my relevance to produce something, to me from a name Monko Musiri. So for hey, no one the pa. Mekatewa. To me sabe in Francois Assembia Masayanka said the emphasover by the NEA. So now coming back to the church, seeing all the seniors that I was coming to meet, I mentioned also for Sechapia. I mean, when it comes to word of knowledge, are you coming to compete with them? I was at Cathedral, St. Paul Cathedral, where in Tema alone, we had close to about 5 prophets, also for someone. Whilst in the cathedral, also for Obiamwa, who was brought to where I am. What is the prophetic thing that you are going to say that? And then I also realized that the prophetism only adds less than 10% to ministry. Look, take this from me. All prophetic churches in Ghana do not last more than 2 decades. 2 decades, ma. Because I travel 20 years and I'm money 2 days. But there's no prophetic church in Ghana that has lasted more than 2 decades. But when you take the churches that are word-based, oh boy, they are still operating. So I'm asking, I'm going back to this church. Yes, the gift is there, but how can I be relevant and still let all eyes be on me? Then I decided to take an advantage of something that the people thought they were possibly making me work as a junior minister, but they really helped me. Efunsie. And somebody is dead. Maybe because they knew I'd worked in the hospital, seeing dead bodies, working on them is not a big deal. And then there's a fajika, Metina holding am say, hey, I did make my business a form pow. Look, ladies, all the men who sit around you that you think are not calling you and are going to look for other women and bringing them, they are not looking at what you are looking at. No. They are not looking at what you are looking at. When men are ready to marry, they look at intelligence with value. I am a father. My daughter is 21 years and so menini. Take this from me. Yes, it's fine. The dress is fine. But you see, honestly, sitting here and seeing you waste time, precious time, to debate on your dress, I am not demeaning what you are saying. But if you think your dress is a cut off or a put off, then I'm saying you are a liar. Because when we were there, so listen to me. Me say apunchani frinsuasi be catcher so will be wajinidi. Now mention any apostolic in Ghana now. The apostolic fathers are so remove Duncan Williams, put him away. He is top. All those who follow. So that Janasari, the Darkwood Mills, Lawrence Tete, they call themselves apostolic fathers. They are the second generation charismatic ministers. Mention any of them, and I will tell you their wives were Methodist, Anglican, Presbyterian. Mention them. I think the guy who spoke about identity really spoke well. Ain't no who bibi no besi no muguso fireman. Besi ne omuguso fireman. Me so mo fireman na mo se. Mo be yesterday. Mo be ko help tempa. Omuguso fireman no e ware. Monyia makru. Look, whilst I was standing here, unfortunately, I couldn't see the faces of those who were talking. I was behind them, looking at those women from their back. No, don't let your mind go too far. Don't let your mind go too far. Enti echira mi jine na mi so sofo echire poni nanimu. Look, My daughters, you are beautiful the way you are. The Eduku adds a style to you. After all, dressing like a youth fellowship member once. Mina chon. All right. So, committee members, I am not demeaning your project, but I'm only telling you what I know. So let's move on. Now, there's a history behind why we Methodists wear kaba. Now, many years ago in Anumabo, there was this man called Mr. Gatti, who later became Nenyi Gatti of Winneba. He had gone to London and had seen women of the church and sometimes women who served, African women who served in the houses of prominent people, wear this very nice slit of a sort and a kaba of a sort, a certain top cloth. Now he came down to Anumabo as a Methodist and decided to form a club called Akonumunsu Club. I realized that in those days, our people, the Fantis, obviously together with my people, the Evers, once they are sea people, they can drink to expectation all over the place. So he decided to start a certain group that is anti-alcohol to fashion it alongside the Wesleyan movement. And then he established Akonumunsu. He dug the first well. Now, all those who became part of that group must wear a dress called kaba srot. Kaba srot. Later, the srot was removed and became kaba. Now, so I say it to you that we Methodists were the people who brought fashion to Ghana. Munim. Look, do you know why anytime I sit on TV, I tell people, "Menye journalist, a branding." You have to be smart, though. Many of you even did kabana moshana aye star method is for nede at the pam any kaba eba Ghana. That is why you see all women fellowship kaba, suma kaba aye star into monkwa young people don't be free kaba nim monkwe. Now please push go ahead. Media, let's move. Now, what then is a plan? A plan is a purposeful, organized intervention in a system with an intention to improve performance. One of my diaries, one of the things that I love about myself is how I calibrate all my life. So I plan myself with every 4 years. That's how I calibrate my life. So I do it according to the 4 years. And so I've told all my family members 4 years. 4 years. Plan with your 4 years. 4 years. Many years ago, whilst struggling as a master's specialist still in the University of Ghana, I went to the house of this my friend who will help me with food. Even after first degree started practice, food was difficult because, pay would not come after a point in time. Saw one lady in the house. I thought I was in love. I still think I'm in love anyway. and we got married after 6 months. Now this lady was selling cloth, not tonto. I was a store girl. Now, but I saw her first washing a dish after an engagement that was done in their house. This woman, I think she can really be a good wife. Oko Ganas. First time I'm afraid I said mention na wa reporter. Onyaya akan onya F. But I thought I was in love, and so we got married. Now, after we got married, I saw where I was going, and already I'd finished a specialization about to enter into University of Ghana Public Health College of Health Science to do another specialization that will send me abroad. Sinti me kwa ba worry store girl. Any maame no store girl no so boa me. Go yes store girl no kakra na ne maame man shop. Inti me zuku no de fa sika na edi tuai. Fa. Fa. Now, roll forward. I become a Methodist minister. Realized that while starting my training, which is going to be 6 years, why don't I let my wife try something? Because I realized she's a very intelligent person. I mean, so I told her to pick a form of one of the universities that I had become head of department because I came into ministry. I needed to be on sabbatical. No koi. Hey, mommy, koya first class. Boom. And I'm saying, fa. Now, did what I do best, praying and looking into the future, and I realized that on one side or two or kasa bibli say or a lawyer. So I told myself, if I'm going to train for 6 years, after the 6 years, I had a PhD already. Let me use the 6 years for another PhD because me there 18 so So I enrolled in Trinity for a PhD. So I'm talking about 2011, 2012. Okay, many people don't know I'm the first minister of the Methodist Church to graduate with a PhD from Trinity. Many people don't know that. And yet, the typical software jika will not draw. That's why even on TV, you don't even see I had my doctorate in me. But I'm saying this to encourage you that you are the better side of the clock. But baby. Now, as I speak, do you know this woman has gone through law program, still first class. I'm talking about law school, first class. Gone through Makola, has still done a specialization. So now, my store girl love is now a lawyer love. Strategy. Drawing a plan and making sure that the plan is going to intervene in something. Please push. Go on. Hello? Media for no air data. All right, so I put in some biblical tests to let you know that what the church, the Methodist Church is doing is not new. Please go ahead. Don't worry, I'll finish very soon. Now, so the church decides that let's embark on a very important model to help us. The young people are talking. That's already attractive. We spoke in our days. It's the reason I left the church. People who can bomb pay about buttons and after him penny for can we name Befon. You know, they are marrying our ladies. Our ladies are moving on with the pew appears diminishing all the time. So the church decided to do a scientific study to see why it was so. We sampled a number of the church members through a certain survey. Now, this was the sampling method. So the strategic plan you see is a real scientific thing. We went to expanded GPCs. We went to a discipleship conference which was done in Gomwa Fete. We met the bishops. We came to some of the churches, met with the young people, went to Gamsu, did everything. Please push on. Go ahead. Now, so after this, we did a SWOT analysis and established some important key challenges of the church. So listen to the challenges of the church. Number one, we realized that the church is suffering from stunted growth and nominalism. Our numbers keep dwindling and dwindling and dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. Number two, we realized that the church was also aging. So the reason why sometimes our fathers and mothers fight us so much is because they are aging. It is called gerontological crisis. Unyini how much? Tidru baby. Na yese ma me ne papa dwen bukof bisa. Your brains are fresh. So sometimes how the fresh brains will meet the old archaic brain. Yeah. You should see the way a lot of people were speaking against the fact that how can you bring a morning show, talk about politics on modern Methodist television, kanopano, nanka ye two hymns. Na obi frey say kura we jai hwe say no oya ohwe mokpa anase ohwe baako no baako mo mbompa ye bom zomro afa awa eno ohwe na mse ko hwe. Now our people don't understand that in modern days television and social media is the highest strategy for church growth. Sometimes all that ICGC will do is to cut portions of their podcast and flash it. Obia and tweet it. Obe tweet ya, and our X ya, or Facebook and maybe about this. But our mothers and fathers don't think it's so. Okay, so you see that things kept changing. At a point in time, I wanted to have a brand with my socks. So my socks was multicolored. Some of you observe. I implemented the software better multicolor. Now I wanted to change my jacket to be a Browning Kati, as you see, for it to be a brand. And then I wanted to have a new face because I realized I was graying. I mean, jama budget, a branding, and also yakasa. I'm going to television idea. Isn't it not nice seeing a young Methodist minister on television who has beard? Is it not nice? Ube share TV by force. All right. Now, limited operation of the charismatic gift. We know that hitherto 2 years ago in this our church, we didn't even know the place of the prophetic. Now the ice is broken because both presidings, Presiding Boafo, Presiding Asamoah Gyedu have said, method is for your shenkom. She say ye be janatu. Ye shenkom to adamoni etu bonsamunyina. All right. Now, the church was unattractive to the young people. And this is what I will finish by saying. He said, anybody who now says the Methodist church is unattractive, then I don't really know again. There are portions of our church that is not attractive. But Sebio said, Usienchi enyeda. And I said, so where can we find you? Who can really tell us Christ the King is unattractive? This is Christ the King. Christ the King. I candidated at Ebenezer. Last Saturday I was there, and when you see Ebenezer Committee 19, full air condition, tower. You walk on a carpet to enter the church. Instrumentalists were nicely dressed. Ushers, babe. What else do you want? You have a minister who is Osofopeni, who is an esquire. When it is time for the word of God, sometimes the youth is allowed to choreograph some of the messages of the minister. What again do you want? All right. Now, weak connectionalism. So, whilst the story is beautiful at Ebenezer, last month when I went to Warburg, Atanga, people were still sitting under trees worshiping. And so this one is trees under church. It's not trees under schools, trees under church. There is high poverty in the church. High poverty. When you move to some of the hinterland, even in some places in Accra, I moved from Tema to Mamponse, where for the first 6 months, I couldn't get my 700 stipend. 700. They couldn't give it to me. So even in Accra, there are places that, even in northern Accra, there are places that are very poor. Now, we also realize that the church had a weak welfare system. For example, Lighthouse International began their church among typical gangs. You know that? Gangs like a lot. So they decided to capitalize on Yala a year to build their church. So all the doctors who were coming out of Kolebu, together with the paramedical schools, the lab tech, the microbiology department, the nursing department. They collect all of this. They are students. They didn't have much money. But we also needed the money of the Makola women. The Makola women. So the strategy was that if somebody dies in a family, it was a strategy of the lighthouse in those days to go and dash them a coffin and a shroud. A ye, ube ye near the adaka, ene nipa wewunu ata adiaba adeka kegbonyo atali yala wagbena yewie. Now they did this consistently, and almost so all the top senior ministers of Lighthouse, they were Gans, EAT, Saki. You can mention the names. It was a strategy. Microphone pay into biwu ani akocho madaka. Okay, so as you are looking at breaking down a tradition, what are you looking at reenacting that is also going to be very attractive? Today I was at Gamsu Kofodria, and with all the dance that was going on, the guy never sang any of our Methodist chorals. But you go to ICGC now, and they have a choral choir. That's how they call it. Na soprano ni be do be twatch on. Omu wi ana ye die ya ye tu ye ne basrefo de. Ye die ya ye tu ya ne basrefo de. No makambo mo this. But when we come to our church, we are singing their song. Masa. Ediana moye. When the charismatics started to build their new universities, by the grace of God, we were part of the people who went to do galamsey there. And this galamsey, sometimes we came to steal Methodist documents. I mean, I'm a Methodist. To be real Methodist constitution. I remember when Perez, in those days, was Pan-African Christian University in Winneba. I came to Methodist University to steal their documents, accreditation, and I'm a dabo, yeah. Dabo. Unim dabe. Oh, unya nkrata nuwe tubie film. So, inti the boy is going to school. No one's son. Say the boy is approaching educational institution. So Oko school ana. So my dear friends, my biggest problem with you as young people is that you are copying too much. For those of you who have done any research before, copying and citing is good, but over-copying and still citing is still plagiarism. I don't know, you're close. Minka said copying and not citing. Over-copying and still citing. So one page, you have cited the person like 21. And your fan will book it to any book. Now we appear to be copying and copying and copying. What is it that makes us unique? Ye kabano ene yakataso mu ni yakataso menfele shufo na wakataso ene yeduku no sokra no mu pese mu jai. Okay, where is the uniqueness? Oh, enti ye dia na ye murumu. I will always will make examples and still come back to this my phone. Do you know that in Ghana now, Muntie, there is no big funeral that will happen in Ghana that doesn't have my signature. I'm telling you. Today I was at Kofodia and distributing pastors to go and preach. They were Okoha. I made chaso form kokanyamias and we yes. Me say me pe ana me Ghana so for metimi de efunu fi Ghana ekwaburo kire kosie no. So for the so enyame ni penti oti ase. There is no funeral that will require my service and I'll take anything less than 5,000. Timi be hwe honorarium me fi ha mo de be ma me. Hwe na mama ye se be hwe po ha. That is just by the way. Now, that is is what I'm trying to let you know. You need to be smart, oh. You need to be smart. So I have now become funeral consultant. I'm a farmer. So I call myself from the mortuary to the cemetery. They hear us oh boakra. Oh boakra. Last month there was a training on loss and grieving for all morticians, all mortuary people in Ghana. They chose 3 people and they sent it and still gave the contract to me. Yes. Now, I am just trying to let you know that you need to be smart. What is it that people want? Methodist youth, what is it that people want? Let us give to them, but let us stay unique in the things we do. What have I introduced into modern funeral making that makes it so attractive for somebody to call from Switzerland, Jehovah Witness? The sofu, you see a bit yedia, who see Muslims, and I'm saying, I am pa. Okay, push, Yanko. Move. So these were the things we realized were the problem of the church. Then, if this is the problem of the church, then we need to find a solution. Now, we realize that in this our church, the younger people were becoming many, although the church is increasing. Although the aged are growing in age, but the young people are becoming many. So our biggest population now in the church is the young people. Now, that is the reason for giving the 30% concession to the young people now. Okay? All right. So move ahead. That's the reason for this. Move ahead. I will let you have the slides. Now, the inferences from the graph that I just showed is what I've explained to you. So move on. Okay. Now, this is very important. Every plan must achieve a result. There's nothing wrong with planning, but there's everything wrong with not querying the plan. Again, that is one of the problems I found with the Methodist young person. Mokasa. It is a debate I'm in 10 days. Kasankria. Mo papa no Methodist asafuni. Enti ye ko conference ni GPC a ye kasa ni atro kama. Near the akoto. So most of the things that you people talk about and say you do, you don't do. So they be a mokasa de fufroba. Now, we decided that the church must now grow from 2 to 3% to 7%. Okay, before I became part of the strategic plan 4 years ago, the church was growing between 2 to 3%. Okay, I will show you a figure now that shows that for implementing the strategic plan for 2 years, the church has begun growing more than 3%. Yeah, that is what you do not know as well. Now, we wanted to increase church attendance. That one has become a problem because of COVID. But we're also trying to see how we can complement church with social media so that those who are not able to come to church can still go to church from their homes and still pay their money. Once you attend church and hear the pastor's voice, you must pay money. Very important. All right. Now, we also realize that paying of tithe has reduced, and this is the irony. When we say the young people are increasing, our tithe is rather reducing. So when we met at the Gomua Fete for the, is it youth assembly they call it? Is it youth assembly? No, the Akoya Hall. Yes, sir. Yes. I threw a challenge to all of you. For those of you listening, and I make a say, Methodist, ye deka. Ye run so ma henham akoje besia e de si Wesley Towers. Now, do you think say we the young people say yetnas ni ye address say ye be kuke ya yentimi nko kanana? That's the challenge I threw to the younger people. It's possible. We can do it. It's not a political slogan. The question is that it's not your money When the young people want to do a crusade, they do it pro bono. They don't come to the stewards for money. Anytime Methodist youth want to do a program of their choice, they don't come for money. So can't we use the same strategy to help the church? Now, some of you, we are well aware that more prophets are what I'm saying, you know it's true. And then you pay something. We are the ministers. We see your time. We know some of you are mid-career people. Some of you are managers. You go to places and it's a Methodist young person who is a CEO, who is that. But our tithe is dwindling. It's like some form. How are we going to resurrect the money matter? These are the things that I will want conference to be addressing. Okay, please push on. Okay, now the key intervention will be the areas we want to look at. I have summarized this. When I finish, I'm giving the soft copy to Osofo and Chairman to flash on your WhatsApp. Method is for your problem. Evangelism, church planting, and discipleship is one of the things we want to take critically for the strategic plan. Number 2, children and young people's ministry. The immediate past presiding and the now presiding have decided that young people must be given premium. Okay? Young people must be given premium. And there is evidence on the ground that young people have been giving a lot of voices now. And the Methodist young person say youth yemfa here. Na me Jones are sorry ben woko. A church that is 190 years, that is highly intolerant of young people's idea, now has a young person who is a member of the trustees. Do you know who is a trustee of the Methodist Church? Ono otumi sign signature. A Tom Methodist a Japade if he decides to be a rogue. That is the power that the church has given to younger people. Do you see the power? Now, we are younger ministers. Don't trick yourself. This green that I'm wearing is not the way to say me a sofu penny. Many was afunimu. We see any in your dinkakra. Okay? But in those days, hey, super. More than 15 years out, you got super. And next year, about for your bemu. I'm saying that the Methodist Church is highly becoming tolerant of young people. Because it is the young people that are going to carry the church and still carrying the church now. The only thing is that you have not identified your own area of operation. Mrs. Say, Magia Tum say, year operation there. You can choose your own, and decide on your. Now, charismatic gifts and the prayer ministry. The Methodist Church is not against the prophetic. We are against the SSS. Obi enyiska no eyiska. Fatofo. Efia ba efobia. A ekon etiesika. Mana so. Ona no so manifa ne so. Na nya obonsam ahi fasi so afi kanche. Hey, and the oyes ebe pamu asafunim. Ona oye ho ebe pamu. Methodist, we don't throw money on our pulpit and our sanctuary. It's a holy place. So we put money there, a box there. We are not the akotum. Yawamra. Should we be like the animal farm where there are no rules? Even in the animal farm, we have understood that there are rules now. Okay. In the Methodist Church, in the prophetic, you can't be throwing water around like that when you have not sought the permission to do that. Obi wa nsu egu ne ho emana ho hene. Odwi ne ho saa. So if you want to do that, seek permission and do it. We are not saying don't use the oil. But yen kaso bi man anum fa oil ngum osi bi wenum na wa yire no ehwe egu nenum. That is what the church is against. The church is never ever against the prophetic. All right. The last one, music, ICT, and media. Yakechiri. Yakechiri. The young people, you are our redeemer when it comes to music, ICT, and the media. Yakechiri. Yakechiri. I have spoken about WTV. I don't know how many of you watch. Obviously, some of you will go to work. But we also have a Facebook version. Sometimes we have podcasts and sometimes we have images. How many of you have even sent it to somebody? So Alpha Hour there. Yeah. One day I was involved in a certain investigation for government. And we were supposed to go somewhere. And the Methodist people that were there, hey, somewhere. The young people, we have given you the chance that in the next 7 years of our strategic plan, we want to blast the ICT. We call it Methodist visibility. My Methodist is mom, baby. Our music. And then finally, social media. NAD, you are not doing bad. But you are still performing below average. You are being monitored. But you are still performing below average. Look, I won't sit on television for a very long time. Remember, I have a funeral to attend. Who is coming to replace me? Who is coming to replace me? Sometimes we don't even have some of you approaching us. Maybe you are still consulting them. But you still prefer to go to them. The days when the Methodist minister was so fearful. Kasofu si hey. Na ne mumma usuro no. But they say, "Utumi krasha eh so for high for na dia bompa." In our days, uko yesu papa. Ka o ma me beti. Dear friends, these are the policies we want you to be discussing. No. Look, being smart and outwitting another person is not a sin. A brand new University of Ghana. Na your competition be a Vandal City. Me moso. But enye sika ne de yo. Ye de anu dwa. Wo de kan de o papa nya nyina aka. Me feel abon in eba no ate. De o papa nya nyina aka. Now that's not what I'm saying you should do, but we live in a world of competition. Your relevance is how competitive you are. Not how noisy you are in praying. Or not how humble you are in reading the word of God. It is how relevant. My daughters, listen. I always want to strike this example. For those of you who are still struggling in finding suitors, let your concentration move from breast and buttocks. They are not brands enough. Okay. All my daughters, please check if you have breast. Check. Mon check. Who I wouldn't be sorry near Mompaima. Everybody has it, right? Okay. After so 7. Baby, I'll take you out. Shesa or bar. So be I will be. Okay, so if your competitive advantage is the same as your competitor, you are a fool. My daughters, Muntie, may say if your competitive advantage is the same as your competitor, you are a fool. What competition? And your competitive advantage is the same as Okoye Den, Okope Den. Methodist Church young people, what is our competitive advantage over the others? We need to find it. Na ya broom amatete. Look, my dear friends, they're charismatic. Omuni bibia special. Me say enne no mo brofo atotos. Enne no mo brofo po atotos. First na be breakra brofo nye. Enne no mo brofo atotos. You see, but they try to be visible and try to be noisy as much as possible. Yet the na ye broom. So at this conference, as we close, what are the resolutions? What are we going to say that NAD when you DC and so your mind your target? I can't tell you what your needs are, but these are the things that the young people need to do out of the strategic plan. Let me go through again. You for evangelism, church planting, and discipleship. Mudieni. Children and young people's ministry, right from the Sunday school. I went to a charismatic church opposite St. Paul Cathedral in Tema. It's an ICGC, and they have built a crèche within the church. Inti anopana maamenom edo omumaba ni ono be gu crèche. Ni no muhwe Abraham, no muhwe Moses o pipe kokom. Na air condition bone ho. Ye wi a ya san soku hwan ayi Tom Brown ne hwan no mu nyina de amon. Yeso so ye ho ye te ho na ye te ekonwa saitofo teso ana ye cha lewa. Okay, won't you go to such a church where you know that your child has the advantage of enjoying a crèche-like, Montessori-like Sunday service? I've spoken to you about the charisma. They say, yes, mon shankom, young people, mon nyamo, ya tuogum, mon nyamo, obi adomwa chede bi awanu subia. Please throw. Nobody is hindering anybody. Those days when the church didn't want us to do that are the days in the past. The only thing is that we are against the excesses. We are against the excesses. And then I've told you that we are also equipping and integrating all the churches into one activity. That one, when you read the bigger document that I'll be sending to you, will understand. The last one, I'm saying that music, ICT, and social media. Music, ICT, and social media. Please push on. In the next 5 minutes, I should be ending. Please go ahead. All right. Now, all these are not for the young people. The first 5 is for the young people. But who knows? Eya ponchirene ene nyibeya potro. Ana mangu bunu esoso ene beye mangwa abre. So whilst we are looking at the young people, we are also looking at what happens. Ecumenism, developing the church in the diaspora, social intervention, entrepreneurship, finance and development, and connectionalism. So this is for the bigger. But for the ones that we think the young people can do, those are the first 5 that I have shown to you. Please push. Go on. Media. Go. All right. Now, we have divided all the strategic plan. I went into the car to look for myself. Do you have your green book here? How many have seen the green book? Oh, just some temper. Is anybody having the green book here? Do you have it here? Oh, you don't have it here? Okay. Also, for tomorrow you have service. Please, let's show people the green book. Me dear no. Me name say no go po for na di mechia. Enika nim say. Me fire susu. Hey, aya hewa. But I'll give you the soft copy. The soft copy flash it for everybody. Soft copy bianchi. Oh, good. Unyabe yo difo. Yes. Dear friend, this is our green book. It says, we Bible, we hymn book, now we constitution for our book, we na fourth book. We say, you form your book long, will be a copy. Mudin baba. If your competitive advantage is the same as your competitor, you are what? What makes you different? What is going to make us different is this green book, a strategy. Strategy. Thank you, my brother. All right. Now, out of this green book, we have divided the various problems into the directorates, and then we have aligned interventions to them too. There can be a solution. So, the General Directorate for Ministries, where some issues of the young people fall sometimes, but General Directorate for Education and Youth Development is our own. And when you take the Green Book, we have outlined all that we want to do. In the next, now we are two years less the strategic plan. Now, we also are looking at General Directorate for Social Services, General Director for Finance and Development, and then the executive. We are asking ourselves, how does our biblical episcopacy benefit the church? Or your bishop, or your presiding bishop, or your super, how does it benefit the church? What is the succession plan? We're thinking about succession. Hitherto, there's no succession. Say, empenifoya. There's nothing wrong looking for talent and developing them and building them into. Now the charismatics are using their children. Ministry. So for those places where their sons are not living up to the task, there's so much infighting among the ministers. But in other places, their sons have become bishops now. Their sons have become prophets now and reverends. They will take over when their father dies. But in the Methodist Church, it's not so. We want to be able to train the next generational leaders. Who are the pastors amongst you? Now, one of the people who is advocating that in the near future, we shouldn't take more than 20% of ministers who are full-time. This is what I mean. We should only take 20% of full-time ministers. I am advocating for professionals who are ministers. Professionals. To your nurse or your minister. Or your hairdresser or your minister. Or your welder or your minister. Or your engineer or your minister. That is what people like us are advocating for. The Church of Pentecost has been smart. Ahead of us. Hey, Pentecost, minister. Telling you, minister. In the end, you gina much in no Kenyan coupons. A strategy. Until we had a setting of software who is a medic and a lecturer sitting on television, they had trained a media minister. Kobrochre kusua media. Tisine NN. Yen de kaswa ade an yekusua wo. Kaswa yad. Training no into mo friend no director of media ministry. Anu oye na dwunti wodi ni nyina say dan kwama nyina ohwa na we see. So we are looking at a certain succession plan where we can still see among you those who have the gifts so that we can move on. Yes, I will be concluding now. Please push on. Let's conclude. Now, so out of these various directorates, we say that there are interventions. Use it to draw an action plan. Please go back to the first one. Let me use, okay. Right. So we are saying that these are the directorates which has all. So for example, let me just read something for you here. So the General Directorate for Education, Youth and Development, to make the church more responsive to the needs of the youth and provide adequate resources. Number one, design intentional leadership development, and I make the mentorship thing. Make adequate and sustained budgetary allocation. Encourage and promote and support and provide incentives for education. When I used to be at the KUST Medical School, a church like Royal House sponsored medical doctors to come to student medical doctors. So there was one day that somebody came to me, her scholarship had delayed, and came to me because he knew I was a Methodist, came to lament if I could go and plead. So me a Methodist ni na me pass here to the medical school no Royal House for program be and I'm say me come Methodist be but the artist we a Methodist ni ain't na maba. And then when I did the investigation, I realized that the man has a scholarship that is targeting talent. So this year, 5 medical doctors, 10 engineers, 10 artisans. No, I come in and give them full scholarship. When you come, you sign a bond. Now, first 10 years, you cry a bond. Now, we're tight. First 10 years. We're tight. So we want to be very intentional now. See the talent amongst us and really, really use the talent that is among us. So we say that see those interventions and objectives and draw an action plan. Now, some of you think that you're not the top and you draw baby about no. As for the action plan, we say do it yourself. We say ICT, Kwame number fast or plan famra. Music, how do you want to do it? We have lost enough talent in music. Neokai, KOD. And starting with that the lumba no more time. Omunina method is full. Shatawale. No, a method is full. We have lost enough talent. So how do we still remain a church and still have a youth who does secular music? When I say radical secular music, but not to say your friend is in the NB. But you can still be a Methodist and still do rap music. Okay? And you can still be promoted. These are things that we should all right. Now, so you see all these interventions that are here, and that is that. Now, in conclusion, my last slide, push to the last slide. In conclusion, life is about 30% planning, 40% implementation, and then 30% evaluation. It is not enough to plan and not do anything about it. So one of the things I am very particular is that I tell people, take my word. Like when your executives invited me, some of them say, take my word. Once I say yes, it's yes. That is what we call implementation. It's not enough to just draw a beautiful plan. Aeroplane. All these beautiful things, they are good. But having the ability to implement them is another skill that takes 40%. Now, after, evaluate. Am I been able to do it? Have I not been able to do it? Now, I'll leave you with this. Okay, I'll leave you with this after the question. So let's have some 5 questions and I can leave you. What are the questions? Thank you. Yes.
Oh, let's do it better. Very Reverend Adika. So please, if you have a question, kindly come and take the first seat. If you have a question.
Hello. Brother Wee. Okay, thank you very much. Very reverend. My questions, I have 2 questions, real quick. not specifically or directly related. They are partially related to the strategic plans that you presented to us. My apologies. My name is Abednego. Abednego, question mark, not second. Yes. You talking about the reasons why you left the church, and then you came back, and then you are urging us, not to leave. But then also, you speaking about the committee's presentation on the new outfit for our sisters. I stand to be corrected though, but my understanding when it comes to Romans chapter 12, do not be conformed into this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your minds. You stated that one of the reasons why you came back to the Methodist Church was because someone, a preacher, Methodist preacher, preached, and you realized that the style has changed. And I remember that in the presentation of the committee's findings, they stated that one of the reasons why some of the parents do not allow their wards to attend MYF is because it is not attractive. We were seeing pictures of what they were projecting, the new attire that they were projecting. I saw a picture of the connectional, the assistants. Yes, thank you very much. That's what has been projected. And when you look at it, the outfit is very nice. So I'm thinking of, we trying to, modernize ourselves, like being conformed by the renewing of our minds, finding ways and means to make the fellowship very attractive. So if we are to stick with the cover, I don't know, can you show us the way? Yes. And then the second question is, you also spoke about comparing I stand to be corrected if that's not exactly what you were pointing out to. Comparing the Methodist Church, our way of doing things in terms of the knowledge. Frankly speaking, before God and man, that is the truth. We get, when it comes to the sermon, we realize that we get the raw word of God. But if I also go to a charismatic church, if I enter into the auditorium, we are just sitting at the back there, and we can smell whatever it was that was coming from the outside. But you enter into a charismatic church, the visuals alone, the projection, the sound, the environment, how fresh the room is, and the attractiveness of the place, and you are forced to stay. Meanwhile, you come here, and those sitting here can tell the truth. They can attest that they can barely even see what is being projected. If you are sitting at the back, you can barely see the projections, and yet still we are, how do we address some of these issues so that we will not leave the church other than, thank you very much.
Okay. Reverend Chairman, Reverend Duval, members of Conference We. My name is Ben Owusu, Kwabenya Second. Reverend Ajika, thank you so much for your presentation, but I think you did a similar one at the just past synod. And my question has to do with how, at the connectional level, we are pushing the idea of getting KPIs at even the committee levels we have down to society level. In your presentation, then you mentioned that there were some key people who were supposed to follow up to do the monitoring. But even using my own church, for instance, it's become a bit difficult because it's not only even in the organizations. You go to men's fellowship, there's really nothing to show. It's like the person comes, obedi post, 2-3 years, we can't really judge if the person is working with what has come from the diocese at that level. Then the second one has to do with Sunday school. You were mentioning that what is our competitive advantage? That used to be, but now they have gotten people from Methodist. My own sister is an example, who is in a different church, using what she learned at Sunday school to work. So my ask is this: at the connectional level, can you bring out something that we can have a way of recruiting Sunday school teachers specifically? Because I say and if that is a competitive advantage really, then maybe at the strategic level, at your committee level, maybe something can come out. Because if society will start to push here, super crash, your Sunday school super crash, as a hard dream visa. So probably at your level, maybe if something can be done.
Thank you very much, Reverend. My name is Kingsley. And who here about? Okay. Very reverend. Yes. That's why you are wearing the green. Okay. But just by the way, on our uniform, I'm still suggesting and supporting that. Let's look at it. Let's look at it, because as we are aging as an organization, our constituents and the people that we lead must have a voice and say in what they wear. We are not going to wear skimpy dresses or anything that will not be in line with the word of God. But let's look at it and then do something that will respond to the concerns that the young people of the Methodist Church have. So you should address the concerns of the church. So it's good that we are looking at it. Very good. So the committee, I encourage you to do more. My question is that over the years, the Methodist Church has been applauded as having all the best of documents. Documented things, everything. They say that our weekly Bible lessons are the best. Other churches are doing it. From this presentation, I was just asking myself, how come not many people have the Green Book? How come this document is not accessible on just a click of a button so that you can upload it and read it yourself? And in this same document, there's a strategy on ICT and other things. Our weekly Bible lessons, still we are printing. The strategy implementation must involve people. The people that we are implementing the strategy do not know the strategy. At my society, we don't have an implementation plan. Organizations at the society level are supposed to be part of implementation team. They don't have any strategy. We are 3 years into the strategy implementation. We have not heard of any reviewed document to see whether we are going well or we are not doing well. How many dioceses have produced their implementation plan? How many circuits have produced their implementation plan? How many societies have produced their implementation? When you see these things, that is when you get convinced that whatever strategy it is being implemented. Very reverend, we are not seeing it. So I want you to address that thing. How can we get this implemented? And then the document, let's make it available to everybody to get it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, brothers. So let's start from what our brother just asked. The document had a first 1,000 prints, which we gave to the various dioceses and asked that the dioceses will place an order to our office. The why is because the Methodist system is decentralized. It is the bishop who is the master of the action plan. So the strategic plan is a closed book. But the action plan on the ground, we say it is the bishop. The last time I met the diocesan lay movement, I told them that Northern Accra was one of the pilots for our strategic plan because they did it first and the connection saw it and realized that this could be used as well. We want to make this whole thing so decentralized that look for your problem and solve it. For example, for the past 3 years, we have been looking for somebody to understudy brother, the men's fellowship chairman. What is his name? The men's fellowship chairman this year. Anowi. How can a whole NAD that has about 5 universities with all of you beautiful brains, the questions you're having asked are even brainy questions. Your director of strategic plan is Anolumai, who is struggling. Compliments to Mr. Anu. He has worked with that fantastic man. But your Pobi, no, I have statistician yenya the whole NAD we can find. Your Pobi, no, we understudy Mr. Anu. See, that is the anger with which I came back with the Methodist Church. I went to the charismatic church became an apostle over 15 years. And I realized that the same things that I was complaining about were still the same thing. So I said, look, if I will go to heaven and really be at a place that I'm not enjoying, that my salvation is not even rest assured, I think God will really and help to lift up the things that I can lift up. Nobody begged me to go and sit on WT. Nobody begged. Until recently, when I am now being given full, I did it pro bono. Dear friends, what I'm saying is that let us move beyond the complaints and let's solve what we are sorry near. Let's solve what we can solve. So you go to a charismatic church and you see flat screen, air conditioning, and all that. Who should go and buy? So if we decide that we want to make sure that all the first class chapels in NAD has flat screens. Now, what they are shared action planning said, this is what the young people are deciding, that almost every month we will provide 2 large LEDs for the church. Who will say no, don't do it? But I think that we are in the business of always complaining and complaining. Look, there is no strategic plan that can have 100% implementation. I've already said that we have elderly people who don't even sometimes side with us, the young people. But let's take baby steps. Let's do what we can do and let's leave the rest. Other than that, we will keep pointing hands and pointing hands and pointing hands and will not be able to move forward. So I am saying I'm giving the soft copy today. Nobody has, all the time that I have come, nobody has asked me for a soft copy. But today I'm saying I'm releasing the soft copy for everybody. It won't have to be a secret document. Our fear was the fact that anything we release to the internet, our people come to steal it and they don't. That is the fear for not releasing the electronic version. But we are deciding to throw the baby and the baby water away. We are deciding to gamble because people think that we should make this electronic. We are deciding to do that. But a baby steps, these are what I can prove. I hope I have answered all the 3 questions. Have I? I think I've touched on. But I want to have a follow-up, please.
What I'm saying is that in implementing a strategy, the connection has the super document.
Yes.
Giving it to the bishops. I want to see, or that's my suggestion is,
very well.
Why can't we see a document at the circuit level, at the society level? No, I'm coming.
Okay.
We are 3 years into the strategy. Does the connection have an idea that Christ the King Society have an implementation plan that connection can cite, and the leaders meeting on a quarterly basis per your implementation plan ask questions whether this plan is being measured?
Yes.
Is this plan being discussed at the society meeting? Are the members even aware that their society have a strategic implementation plan?
So this is...
And I think this one is a tick box. The connection, all the societies in Ghana can just do a call, just like we did for the Westland Tower.
Okay.
Which societies have implementation? We can just take and say 50%.
Okay, so let me answer that. Please sit, maybe you may. Every year, we do what we call Annual Implementation Committee, APC. Now, at this APC, every bishop comes to tell us what they did previously and then what they are going to do in the future. Now, in the strategic planning office, until we employed 3 more people to come, we were just 2 there. We can't go and monitor everybody. Dear Bishop Bekano, Mefano Sakosant. Okay, that is why we are challenging ourselves. That you young people, I am throwing a challenge to you that we have a problem. What can you people do to support the problem? That is why we are here. Okay, some of our bishops are trying, but sometimes they also have backlashes from colleague ministers. When this thing started, there were even lay people who fought it. But so I am throwing a challenge to you that Mumbrati in the corner where you are, And let's do the little, except say why you want to say Methodist no be jai. But when you want to say ube jai to say me so for ajika, maka to ho say mi wua. Mummo me color. Na mummo me nim powder. Because I want to be buried in my look. I'm so passionate about this thing I do, and I've told my family this is why I left full-time medicine to come and do. Person me ye. So me person me this I drink too much. You see, when we go to we are counting Christians in Ghana, and it is being done by Ghana Evangelism Committee. Okay. Now, when you go and see the Methodist presence there, and when we go, the way they respect us, example. Now, me tell say, munim. I had the sabbath. I'm telling you, we went, made our opinion. Say, you know, no, my leaders. Because they respect it. Methodist woman, you know, sir. Na me no ma ole. So, and when we move from that point of apportioning blames and now tackle or hold the bull by the honey and koyanim, because the BCN by a person and no sorry. So I'm looking for solutions now. Okay, so let's go to them later. You may add or something, or you want to later. Okay, just 30 seconds.
Just later. So my understanding is that you need members to help you at the head office. So if there are people here,
yes,
who wants to help,
yes,
they can come on.
Fantastic.
And help. So
yes.
Can you give a contact?
Oh yeah, when I finish, I think my number is a popular number. Send me celebrities out. Okay, maybe I'm.
And then the second one at the annual
planning committee.
Yes. Please let us give a tick boxes. All societies in every diocese.
Yes.
The bishops should tick that this society.
That's what they actually come to.
No,
do.
They should tick that this society has an implementation plan.
They have an action plan.
Yes, and then they should produce the plan.
All right.
And let this plan be accessible to. So if I'm in Christ again, let me be able to access this plan, see it, and go to my Osofo and ask Osofo, I'm a strategy person. I can help with this.
Okay.
This is the plan.
All right.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Right. Let's make it snappy.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Very Reverend. My name is Prince Gideon Jani from Ashalibotri Circuit. Yes, so I love your passion so much for the strategic plan of the church. So I on a view to, over the years, actually, I've been thinking that going forward, can there be the next despite in Methodist? Yes, among young people. And I was thinking that if probably going for during your presentation, I was expecting to see something relating to creating probably incubation centers to help develop business or individuals who are already into business.
Yeah.
Yes, I know the Youth Development Fund is doing well to support individuals, but I believe that going forward, we could have these centers to train them, being not just for a short period, but for a longer period.
Okay, fantastic. Let me answer this because it's a very important one. Now, these days, if you invite me for a prophetic service, I may want to prophesy just for 10 minutes and let you know, and then I do a lot of capacity building. Because I've come to realize that this whole thing, prophetic, tricks 90% too. Now, I'm not saying the prophetic is not good. Okay, if you're before now, or you're on me who say, or you're someone unity, and I think church is moving more into capacity building and using talents and giftings to serve, like the despite thing that you are talking about. So while the Church of Pentecost is raising Club 1000 and putting up professional diaries and professional inventories, we are also spending a lot of time on breaking demons, repeating the thing that Samson upon and Co did that the Pentecostals have come to take and they are doing. I am of the opinion that our priorities as young people are always not right. I'm one of the few people that is moving from putting young people together to pray and have all night and half night into putting them together for them to come and do entrepreneurship training. We are not saying prayer is not good. Prayer is good. I'm a person of prayer. But we pray amiss and we love, excuse me, the things that in my opinion are not sensible. Look, let me tell you, there is no young woman here who is so talented, accomplished, that a man will not chase you. Ghana Bema, Unyao Diaji. I'm telling you. I am telling you, there's no, it's so those of you who are wasting time and praying a prayer, told me mamio, told me no, rademanem parimio. Muntie. Obey niha, obey badrimba, obey a virtuous woman. Proverbs chapter 31 verse 10. Or ye accomplished. When a Jew may be, be maybe anchor so be pen. Miss of what you come in, I'm true me to us here. So sometimes some of the declarations are wrong and they do not have biblical basis. Praying for husband, what did they and they kwa warrior nasia unufu no to pay. Obia wow. Okay, but we have put this in your mind. So banana jump alpha hour. Yo. Okay, but we are looking at that hairdresser that has 10 shops in Accra. Demons rosika, a bayforce rosika. Muntie, this coming from a prophet. Mahusikania ya tu bayfor no soda. See, so sometimes when I say makuma ya me ya, the way sometimes you people think happens there. Majina hachira me say bi ya the code. Agrada me ati ase say ye ntwedi. Mama testimony just say ye ba mu ba ye twa mu bidi. But the Methodist young person is still doing the same thing. I side with my brother that let's raise the next despite. That is what I am telling our elders that fitineko krama yemfa software only neduma. Software only a core business. And I'm not talking about education. Maka hairdresser or your welder or Timmy King kind or your software papa. So we are using our that is what the Church of Pentecost is doing, even including having a mortuary man who is. Let's have your question.
Thank you very much, Asafa Jeka. My name is Philip Egan. You may know me as Christy calling from Accra.
Sharp.
Right. So, Asafo, talking about putting together professional diaries.
Yes.
That is why I'm here.
Okay.
What is keeping us waiting? Why are we not implementing that? Because we've seen that as a challenge.
Okay.
You've seen a church doing it and benefiting. Just this week, I was talking to a colleague who mentioned that her husband is a medical doctor. They've just opened a center for rehab in Konongo, and he's a director. Just like
and he's a Methodist.
No, Pentecost, I mean.
Okay.
So my point is, what is delaying us from implementing these things that you have seen?
Okay.
You are saying that the church wants to move away, and we want to move away from employing people full time, and we want to employ professionals. Why not now? Also, why do we have to wait? Okay. We have seen it. It is a good thing. Mm-hmm. Why not copy and paste?
Okay. All right. So my brother, what is delaying us is what I have come to see right now. Where in this day and age, young people of Methodist Church still think Kaba is a distraction. You see, that is what we are. So I'm saying that NAD young people, more professional diary as young people. Oh, the influence say I'm penny for no sebi or my say young people more professional diary. You see, my young point at the end yeah waha. Okay, at the end yeah waha. You see, at first we thought that Ebia Usuku Koko Nimu and I say Church of Pentecost for Edis Provisa no money in I say Usuku Kokra and Ma sorry Besin Neno. They are young people still wear their uniform. They have modified. There's nothing wrong with modification. And I am not saying bring the uniforms back. Bring the uniforms back. And who hear me pa? Bring the uniform. I am not saying don't modify. I am not saying please bring it back. Abofra obewu no so she Pope kotokum kro obewu. See, so those people who sometimes give some very funny reasons for not letting their children come to the youth service. Or very funny. Sometimes I see it very whimsical and capricious. Seriously, I don't know wakuma womupa we Methodist ni ba. Na me amijina he said the boys brigade the boy me. Men's fellowship boy me. Na mema ako gamsu ana say mema ako youth fellowship. Me say atadi inti me maninko. Who born dog? Then you change your surname and choose another name. Look, the dresses are nice. Are we saying said the first lady who is there? Okay, Mumuhu, so it's on my left. Are we saying the first lady that is there is less competitive than the lady in between the people? And when people see Suku Fuata there, Suku Fuata dio. Okay, let's assume without admitting, why don't we let the Suku Fuata there become a second one? Now you're maintaining the original one. What about that? In the first place, I think say encrofono moka say yes, it's for pregnant women. So yenka se ma yenya modification. I just told you say kabaye ye trademark. Okay, I went to take Church of Pentecost on strategic book and run me catch room at the meeting smoothie. Evangelism meeting na na me catch room say me be happen. How comes the Pentecost? Omo yo mo church growth strategy. Omo can tongues na ye kan. The Church of Pentecost they enumerate people who speak in tongues the whole year. And to us for me and one ka tongues no na just say wunyanyi papa. It is their principle. It is their doctrine. I just stood there and told you that Kaaba is our identity. Why do we do away with the thing that is our identity? If we want to modify it, we can modify it a little bit for it to become a second uniform. But to say throw away this so that people almost maybe are. Anyway, it's my opinion. It's my opinion. Let's end. It's my opinion. Yes.
Papa so for red we. But yo me masem kakra epese me bisa and say.
Okay. All right. So there's being a clarification. So all those of you who are thinking like me, bring the picture back. Thinking that is the uniform that is coming to replace it. It is only for pregnant women. And they said there is nothing wrong. This one. Okay. But where is the one that we are changing to? And Monshushamam. Monshusha ni interrogate. Monshushamam Pacho.
Pacho Richard.
And the appeal for the same one yantadie.
Pacho Richard Usman san I will circuit. Pacho kakra mpese bibisa ne se ye share youth na ye na adwuma aya fatu ye so ebiem ye evangelism.
Yeah.
Nyame boa na ye kwotwe akra no eba na inya aso na ase eti asore ne edo omokomu wia na ka se ombesi dan no a ombetinam. Si ye share Pentecost so omka so ombesi dan a sika efrisro eba beboa omomo mutumi ede esi dan no enti no mebisa se as Methodist yanso se ebe ne ya ye edi frisro eba beboa down na ma omo nso no se ye kote asori na omo nso mutumi ede etumi agina na etumi akonanim esa na empempi na ma asadwuma na ekoye ye no na akoye kwa ti dia se na asori no wode mai
yo me da se me nua me okay Father and account.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Very well, sir. On the strategic plan,
yeah,
I would want to believe and trust, say, our ministers have been trained on it and been made to understand what its implication is.
Supposedly.
But one thing that I think we have not gotten is the strategic implementation of the plan.
Okay.
Because the bishops would give feedback because Oko staff meeting why just to take a box.
Okay.
Yes, it is done. But down the societies, the members do not even have a copy of the book.
All right.
Because personally, I can use my circuit as an example. I came for the Diocesan Strategic Session meeting, And I was told the books have been given to the circuit. But surprisingly, you go to the circuit and it's been given to old men, quote unquote,
That's
as
fine.
souvenirs, and they are keeping them in their rooms.
Okay. Okay.
So it's good. Say, at least you are assuring us that you're going to share the soft copies with us. That is one. Number two, as Kingsley raised, we should look at how to implement it or train the ministers on the implementation.
Okay.
On what and how to report on them.
Very well.
So when you come to staff meeting, you would have something tangible to report on, not just to take a box, say, Bishop and I say,
okay.
So I need to report on.
All right. Thank you. Now, I also want you to understand that we are dealing with a very legalistic church. And usually you see how legalistic and rigid our church is when you come to meetings like this. Even some of you young people, difference be any. Now, my humble appeal is that as we do what we are doing from the top, I can tell you that it is very difficult even with the ministers to penetrate this. But Asafono, presiding say, Asafono, the young people are not the future of the church, they are the church. And I am advising this conference to forget about all the people at the top and do the little you can in your own corner. Me, I don't want to be part of a losing team. So I will always tell my 4 children that if you want to be a loser, you can't be my child or my daughter. So if you even write an exam and you have anything below a B, you know you don't have to come and show me. And it's my nature. You bet to me, me who they met me TV. So yeah, sorry, I got to know how me. Okay? When I thought I could do funerals, and yeah, I may as you say benefit me. Me chiramo, adia media for funeral in terms of money. Okay, so the advice I'm giving to you is that look, forget about and the top what the dene. And the top, and let us brighten the corner where we are and do the things that we can do, dear young people. And then when it comes to the building, all the money that moves from the society to the top still brings it down. But the donor goes into minister's stipend. You see, me, senior minister, my salary is less than 3,000. Yes. And to me, can't salary says stipend now when you are me green a machine na my salary less than 3,000. Tinyese method is a so for ye disika baby ye to watch. Okay. But the confidence we have is you. The fact that you as a manager, midlife career person can also bring your money to support the church. Okay? It is possible and it can be done, and that is the challenge I am throwing to all of us. So the one who asked about the building, ye nisika edukosi asoda. Esro ye nisika. Ebi ni ho. What's little wakra ye ntuan wie. When I tell you how the interest is escalating, ye beton asafo no. Timode montina tena. Enye mpanifo no mfom so. COVID, Russia, Ukraine. COVID, Russia, Ukraine. But now we have the most befitting church structure in the whole of this country. Can young people, I don't know when you're having your national national conference, make a resolution say ye beje kane tuya. So listen, ujidie wechire. Sometimes it's not your money. It is somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. People have money in Ghana. Okay? People have money in Ghana. I am telling you, people have money in Ghana. But we need to be able to identify them and they will come and support the church. Let's have the last question.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Justice Jaulu Sekit. On the strategic plan, there is an avenue for media ICT. So my question and probably a suggestion is, at the conference office, is there an office created for that particular office? Because the church right now is digital. The world is digital. And you made mention of churches that use or capitalize social media a lot to publicize. So my question is, do we have an office that is has that mandate to ensure visibility of the Methodist Church Ghana online?
Okay.
Because I'm asking this because right now our website is even down.
Yeah.
The church's website is. How many of us know that we are on WhatsApp, Methodist Church Ghana? And how many of us follow Methodist Church Ghana on WhatsApp? We can see.
Okay.
But in other places.
Ask how many follow the Association website and MYF website.
If the top is down.
So that is my problem with all of you young people. They be no top. Down no other na yen chassis. NAD MYF more X more Twitter. X on one more Facebook. No, I need answers. You have Snap. How many of you snap photos and put it on NAD MYF Snapchat? How many? Raise your hands. How many of you are followers on the NAD MYF Facebook? All of you, please stand. Please stand. All of you. Who can try? I saw them. Onyangu ponja and never show. Okay. Oh no, maintenance. High table. Can I speculate that this should be about 30 to 40%? Please sit down. So, why can't you channel the same effort into helping the diocese? Mabel, why don't you channel this whole thing into helping the diocese? I am saying that forget about the top and move from the down and meters. Wait. Just last week or last 2 weeks, we have employed some new young men. I see one of my colleagues here. Ujafo, stand. You are now an employee of WTV Mwa. For microphone, no command. What do you do?
I do graphic designing and video editing.
All right. So you are going to see that things are going to change a little bit better. We are even advertising that Osofo Ajika can have a replacement. Because of WTV, I'm not able to go to my medical conferences anywhere. And a complimentary a year. Okay. Can I have somebody that I can train? Don't let me come and look for you. Come to me. Let me train you. That is the challenge I want to throw to. Let's stop them penny for It's the truth. Oh, definitely.
Reverend, so
yes.
In light of what you are saying,
yes,
that is why I'm asking the question. Because I think that for all these churches we are mentioning, a deliberate effort.
Yes.
Because for those places, they will tell you, like and comment. And they will come back to actually check members from their, if it's, say, this society. If I'm the social media manager of the society, I'll come back and check how many from my society have actually commented or liked the post.
Okay.
And also, another thing about our Facebook page, I think posting programs alone won't drive engagement. There should be content. There should be other things that will encourage me to go and check, oh, Methodist Church Ghana Facebook page, what is new there?
Okay.
But if I come and I only see program, nothing will encourage me to
all
come
right
there.
So I get you. It's okay.
And then please, the last one, and when you hear me,
okay.
WTV. I think it's a platform that we should allow the young people or even the church to benefit from. Last year, I had a program for my society and we came to WTV. Yes, we were granted an interview, but to host or stream the program on WTV was a challenge.
Okay.
Because the money that was being quoted was too much for us.
This
so
can be
I'll
next time you speak to me, it will be done. This is not a big deal at all. Next time it will be done. So that's all. Your matter is solved. Now, WTV is a commercial entity registered in the name of the Methodist Church that pays bills and pay people. You just heard that we have employed somebody who is now social media and content. So for now, you are going to see a lot of content. And you say, yeah, no, but yeah, kakra, and we need you. That is my plea. Kasana dosu. Atinetine no omwa na dosu. Come and help. Okay? Come and I will welcome you to. So our office that does Uti, the office that is supposed to do the social media things, including the streaming, is CPD. See, but the people at CPD, they were employed. Yes, Antoine Mabres. Okay, we want to be able to try as much. Yes, there's a new director now that is bringing innovations now. We want all of you young people to come and help. Munyi sikem free mu. Usi I told you how I buried people for free, and now I am an international funeral consultant. Listen, when I started WTV, by the way, I told you I drive a Prado. I would drive, and anybody who drives a Prado, your father has a Prado. Prado, you can't buy less than 500 Ghana fuel in it. Not less than 500 Ghana fuel. You see, I change my clothes all the time. Me and me too. But if I tell you what WTV has added to my life for doing it for free, you have no idea. Now, Connection has started giving me fuel. But if I tell you what WTV has done for me, City has approached me to come and host their morning show, which I said I won't do. Multimedia HR has, which I said I wouldn't do. But something came from abroad that I did. The whole churches abroad wanted to host a program somewhere. And somehow, they called me and said they have seen me on TV. And so they made me director of communication, finally became director of operation for all that, including when the first pope was alive. So sometimes you may start for free, but you may end up getting money. It is a method in Sofudi. Sofunim, your salary no. And also, but Adododie na nam hono. Adododie no starts with a blessing from God. Other than that, me at my level, a senior lecturer, almost becoming a professor, head of department at the hospital, leaves this to come and become a minister of a church like the Methodist Church, where I knew how much. When we started ministry, our pay was 900, came to 1,003. And then but in Shana, everyone banner, you have no idea. And young people, na ya muasafono. Na eradi di ebesi baby. Well, long live the Methodist Youth Fellowship. Long live the Northern Accra Diocese. And long live the Methodist Church Ghana. You want to have my number 0246 884670. 0246 884670. 0246 884670. Yeah. 0246 884670. I correspond only in text messaging and in WhatsApp. Because of the nature of my work, I can't always talk. But once it's a WhatsApp and a text message, I will answer you, bam, bam. We can do this. The church is rising. It is on its feet. It is galloping. It is going to run very fast. Don't be left out of this new wave of the whole Wesleyan movement. God bless you for having me.
Let's do it better. Let's do it better, brethren. Papa Yedasi, Nyamin Shrao. Papa has had a very busy day. And then he spent virtually